everybody, and welcome to Cooking It Real. I'm Kathy. Today I want to bring you another classic from my dad's cookbook, The Best of Dad. If you've seen this cookbook before, I told you the whole story, but my dad compiled a cookbook. He was a huge foodie and gave a copy that was hand typed by my mom to me and each of my three sisters. She typed every single page by hand, double-sided, labor of love for sure. Anyway, my dad, although he was a big foodie, he loved desserts. So I would say this cookbook of dad's is probably about a good 75% desserts. So now as the weather's getting cooler, we're getting into October, and it's time to get the ovens fired up and get to baking again. So I'm going to bring you one of his classic recipes today, and that's for brownies. It's so simple, so easy. This is another one of those recipes, just like banana bread and things like that, that you really want to have in your repertoire. You say, Kathy, I can buy a brownie mix at the store. Yes, you can. I was at the store the other day and I saw a whole wall of brownie mixes, and I think I might be able to put a picture of that up on the screen here. And what I saw was A, how much they cost. They ain't cheap. And B, what all is in them? I mean, they are filled with a lot of different ingredients. Yes, it's convenient, and I got no problem with you having a couple of boxes of brownie mix or cake mix or whatever in your pantry stash for an emergency. But really, it's not hard to make from scratch, and you can do it. And I'm going to show you how. First thing, let's just take a look at just how few and simple these ingredients are. Here's what it is. We have all the usual suspects when it comes to things that are baked. We've got flour, we've got sugar, we've got some butter that I've melted, we've got some eggs, we've got some salt and some baking powder, we got some vanilla. What else do we have that is special to this recipe? Hershey's cocoa, unsweetened cocoa powder. And also I'm going to add some semi-sweet chocolate chips. That's all there is to it. So let's just put it together, and bada boom, bada bing, it's going to be done in no time. The first thing you want to do is set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The second thing you want to do is you want to get a pan. This is an 8x8 pan. My dad's recipe said 9x9, 8x8, 9x9, very close. This will just make your brownies a little bit taller. All right, now you can butter this, or what I did, I just used some cooking spray. Spray it liberally all over the sides, etc. All right, now you're ready to start mixing your ingredients. You can do this with a stand mixer or a hand mixer, but it's just as easy to do by hand. All right, so what I have to start with here is 3/4 of a cup of melted butter. That is 1.5 sticks of melted butter. I just melted this in the microwave. It's cooled a tiny bit. All right, and now we're going to blend that with 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Just put all of that in and give it a mix. There we go. There we go. See how that's all nice and get dissolved? Perfect. All right, now for our other liquidy ingredients, we need 3 eggs. These are large eggs. They don't seem very large to me, but I don't know whether eggs or chickens are laying smaller eggs these days or what, but we're just going to go with it. 3 eggs. Wipe that on my apron. Mix that in. There we go. And we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I don't have a measuring spoon right now. Usually the cap is a 1/2 teaspoon. So you can use the cap to measure. half one, or you can measure with your heart and just put in a good glug. Little extra ain't gonna hurt nothing. All right, now we're gonna mix this up. Easy peasy. Boom. That's all our liquid ingredients. All right, now for our dry ingredients. And this is, you can do it in a separate bowl, but you know me, bad girl baking. I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt, and this is 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just gonna sprinkle that in over top. Boom, 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 just like that. And here's the star of the show, in my opinion. This is the unsweetened cocoa powder. This is 1/2 cup. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever seen a video of the little boy who takes the big spoonful of unsweetened cocoa powder and eats it, and just the absolute shock and horror on his face. This stuff smells so good. Oh, it smells like delicious chocolate, but it is bitter, bitter, bitter. So, no matter how good it smells, do not taste this stuff plain, or you will cough, cough, cough. All right, in that goes. And I'm going to mix this all around just a little bit. Whoops, making a mess. You knew that was coming, didn't you? Cooking it real as usual. Honestly. All right. Oh, gosh. Look at with that. See, now with that sugar. Now, this is, if it didn't have raw eggs in it, you could just take this with a spoon and eat it. Now, here is just 1 cup of flour. Don't need a lot of flour for this recipe. I'm just going to put that in. We're going to mix that up. I mean, do you see what we're doing here? This is almost done. Now, what you want to do is you want to mix this in so it gets back to that fudgy looking consistency. You don't have a whisk. This is equally done with a spoon. Or like I said, you can use a hand, one of the hand mixers or a stand mixer or however you want to do it. Now see, this is almost as simple as putting a box together, and you don't have any kind of unnatural ingredients, or less than desirable, let's even say, like stabilizers and preservatives and things like that. Okay. Oh, that is looking so good. All right, what I'm going to do next, in my dad's recipe, he says add a 1/2 cup of nuts. And he specifies walnuts because, New Englanders, that is the nut of choice. I'm in the South now. I would say pecans could be just as good. But I don't have any nuts today, so I'm not even going to mess with that. What I am going to add, though, is the similar amount of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Okay, so this is a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Now, you could add dark chocolate chips, like the, what are they called? I can't remember what I'm thinking of, but Ghirardelli makes them. I think I just finished up a whole bag of them not too long ago, but they're more like cacao chips, and they're not bittersweet. Yeah, kind of like bittersweet. Not bitter like the chocolate, but they're bittersweet. They're very decadent and elegant. Now, another thing that you can add to this that would be delightful if I had it is some dried cherries. Chocolate cherries go so well together, in my opinion, and that would make a delightful brownie. Now, my dad, I'm going to pour this. I'll tell you what he did in just a second. I'm going to pour this into my prepared pan now, and we're going to be ready for the oven. Now, what my dad put in the recipe as a little treat for the kids, as he put it. In fact, I will read it to you. Let's see. What does he say? Surprise the kids. Here's my copy of that page. I printed it out, put it in a sleeve because I just, I don't want to actually use the book out on the counter because it's just too precious to me at this point in my life. I want to keep it as pristine as I can for future generations. Okay. He says, surprise the kids and place a mini peanut butter cup in the batter before baking, midway between each square where they will be cut. Place in the batter just so that the top of the peanut butter cup is showing, and bake it in the usual way. Can you imagine what that would be like? That would be awesome. So you take those little mini Reese's cups, and I mean, they're in the stores everywhere now. Hopefully you can get some on sale because it's October and Halloween is coming. I'm going to just use my finger to scrape this off. And you'd unwrap them, of course, and put one. I'd say you could put 1, 2, 3, or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 little mini peanut butter cups. And wouldn't that be great? I'm going to have to try that. All right, this is ready for the oven. Yeah, I licked it. All right. This is going to go into that 350 oven. Going to bake it for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. And then we're going to cool it if we can wait. All right, so here we go, into the oven. So while the brownies are baking, I had time to clean up all of my dishes, washed, dried, put away. It's like I was never even here. Huh. So that's a win-win in my book. Also, I still get 17 minutes left on my timer. So what I'd like to do with all this extra time is to just ask you real quick to hit that like button and also click on subscribe if you haven't already. And I really, really appreciate you. Oh my goodness. If you could smell my kitchen right now. Oh, it smells so good. All right. I've got a knife here. It's been 30 minutes. I'm going to just stick it in there and see what we got. Oh, see, now is that fudgy from the chips, or is that gooey from not being cooked enough? All right, here's a couple of different ways to tell. Look around the edges, okay? And if the edges are starting to slightly pull away, then you know you're getting there. And also, I can kind of like take a look at the sides because I can see through this pan. What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put it back in the oven for just 5 more minutes, and let's see what happens after that. Okay, back you go, my friend. Okay, here's that extra 5 minutes. I think that's just the fudginess. I think that's just fudginess. It's looking good to me. I'm gonna let this cool completely. If I can stand to wait, yes I can. I can. I'm going to leave it right here, cool on this counter. And when it's cool, I'm going to cut it and I'm going to show you what we got. Okay? All right. See you back in just a little bit. Okay. I have let this cool now for 35 minutes. As you can see, it's kind of sunk down a little bit. And I'm ready to give it a cut. Let's see. I think I'm going to cut it all the way down the middle to start. 1, 2 servings. Perfect. Now there's a lot of people that have very strong opinions about what part of the brownie is the best. There are the edge people and the center people. Let's see. This is looking kind of small for a brownie. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with this whole piece. Oh. Is it coming? Oh. Oh, that is kind of a mess. All right, I need more utensils. I think I'm gonna let this cool a little bit longer. Not to say that I'm not gonna take this out anyway and give it a taste. Okay, so what I did was I took the brownies, I put them in the refrigerator for probably, it's been about 30 to 40 minutes, and things are much different. I think the softness was the warm, melted chocolate chips, and I think that made all the difference. So now I'm going to cut another piece, and we're going to have an official taste test. And you can see this is cutting so much better. It's still nice and ooey gooey, which is what we want, but it's not falling apart. So if you just let it cool on the counter, you know, it'll take a little bit longer than putting it in the fridge for half an hour or so. But anyway, isn't that a beautiful thing? Let's have a taste.
I like the ooey gooey stuff.
All right, I got my special taste tester here.
We've cheated a little bit.
Well, I told him we did sample. It was good. Oh, look at now he's cutting them into teeny tiny pieces.
It's very rich and it's very tasty.
All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you one up close. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. Can you see that? Perfectly cooked. A little bit more firm. It's not warm anymore. How is it?
Oh, it's very tasty.
I thought he was going to feed me a piece, but guess not. They're so good. The top and bottom, a little bit, not crispy, but
crunchy.
Yeah, have it some integrity, and inside it's just like gooey and fudgy. So good. I think if you did not add the chocolate chips, it might be a little slightly bit more cakey, a little less fudgy. That's not going to hurt nothing. And it's so good.
It's very good.
With some ice cream, cold milk, coffee, tea, glass of Chardonnay, or red wine. Ooh, maybe like a Pinot Noir. Sounds good to me. Yes. Oh, Duchess is calling. So that means it's time to say thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time on Cooking It Real. Coming, Dutch.
This is not going to survive. I'll eat it one small piece at a time.